Well, it's 4:30 in the morning. I am on my run, just finishing my 10K. Oh yeah, that was good. We're going to talk about the differences between running and mountain biking and how they can complement each other. So stay tuned. Okay, so first, I've been a runner since I was 17 years old, and I'm 46 now. And I've been running for quite a few years. I've run marathons, I've run half marathons, 5K races, 10K races. And then mostly though, I just run because I can. When I first started running, I started running to lose weight. I was pretty heavy. When I was 17 years old, I was like pushing 300 pounds. So not a lot of people that I know now believe that, but it's very true. My dad one day threw a Runner's World magazine at me, not literally, but he gave me a Runner's World magazine. It had a 3-month learn to run program in it. It took me 4 or 5 months to actually get through the program completely. I was, like I said, I was pushing 300 pounds. I got obsessed with it. I was, by the end of the fourth and a half month in, I was doing the full program, which lended itself to running 30 minutes straight, 3 times a week. But because I am who I am, I can get obsessed about things. So I was running 30 minutes like 6 times a week or 5 times a week when I started. I brought my calorie intake down to 800 calories a day, no more than that. So I wasn't eating enough. And I dropped, from the time I started that program to the time I finished it, I was down to 174 pounds. Then I got even more obsessed with it. I started increasing my mileage, and I increased my mileage, but I kept the calories at 800 calories. So you can just imagine where this is going. When I was in my first year of college, I was 128 pounds at 6'2". Yeah. So that's everything not to do. Not a healthy way to do things, but I was, young and invincible at the time, so I thought. So let's talk about, let's talk a little bit about getting into either riding or running just for losing weight. Yes, it's a great idea. If you want to lose weight and you're trying to think of ways to exercise to help you lose that weight, because mostly weight loss is done in the kitchen. But if you are looking to add exercise to your life, which I am a major proponent of, not only can you lose weight with exercise, but in a previous video that I did, which I'll link in the description, riding and running or any kind of outdoor or indoor physical activity will really help with your mental health. So not only does it help with your physical health, but also your mental health. You can't lose. So like I said, I've been running for years. I suggest doing little bits at a time, working up to it. Get on a program. If you have a running room store in your area, they do learn to run programs. They also do other programs for when you're done the learn to run program, and I would suggest looking into that. If not that, there are programs online that you can get. There's all kinds of information online, which gets you running over the course of 3 months. Let's say it'll get you running straight 25 minutes to 30 minutes tops. start with that. Get on a nutrition plan, which is actually quite easy. It's way easier than people think, and I'm not just saying that. All you gotta do is cut out your sugar and cut out your coffee, not completely, but 90%, and cut out all those products that are, basically fortified with all kinds of crap. Just cut out that stuff. Start eating whole foods, and you will notice a difference. It's important to also get into a gym and start like a soft weight training program. A lot of people will go into full-on cardio, which I was guilty of that for years. Full-on cardio and do no other gym work but cardio, no stretching, no strengthening exercises, no toning exercises, nothing, just cardio. So just getting on the bike and going, just getting on the road and running. And then when you're done that, you're starving. So you want to eat more, right? So let's talk about cost. Because that is a driving factor in what you're going to do, really. So this is considered a entry-level mountain bike, okay? I do have quite a few upgraded parts on this mountain bike, so I'm not going to put those parts in. I'm not going to talk about upgrading. I'm going to talk about out the door, out the shop cost, all right? Just for the tool, which is the mountain bike. This bike cost me $12.99 out the door. Plus tax, of course. We're in Ontario, so add 13% to that. It's not cheap by any stretch of the imagination, okay? That's a stock beginner entry-level mountain bike. Now, you can go down from there. You can get a cheaper mountain bike. They usually start around $700 to $800 plus tax for a good starter mountain bike. So when you add tax to that, you're getting up into over the $1,000 range, okay, just for the tool. So that's just to start. A bike is really all you need to start mountain biking. You don't need any of the gear and any of the other stuff. You just need a bike. Of course, you're gonna need a helmet, all right? But we'll talk about that when we talk about gear. To start running, you need a good pair of running shoes. The amount of money that you're gonna spend on running shoes, really, when you start out, is $300. I wouldn't spend $300 on a pair of running shoes, but I also don't have knee problems or leg problems or foot problems or anything like that. So for me, I've always spent about $200-ish on my running shoes. Now, the cost difference there, startup cost difference, is completely different. It's way cheaper to start up running because you only need a really good pair of running shoes to start running. So how do you get those shoes? Well, you go to a specialty running shop, and I know you're going to pay more there, but I'm telling you, if you do that, you're going to get set up with running shoes that properly fit you, that properly fit your gait, and properly fit your pronation, under pronation, over pronation, all this stuff. They're going to watch you walk or potentially run in them, and you're going to get set up with a good shoe. It's the same goes with a bike. Don't buy your first mountain bike at Walmart. Please do yourself a favor, okay? I got nothing against Walmart bikes, but if you're gonna start trail riding, you don't want a Walmart bike. You don't. Trust me on this. You're gonna want for more. You're gonna want for another bike sooner than you think if you buy a Walmart bike, and they're not upgradable. Now, granted, if you're in the States, there are a few Walmart bikes. There are a few Walmart bikes that you can upgrade. They do have an upgradable platform. They are great for a beginner bike. But you're getting into the mountain biking scene, do your homework, you'll realize that the cost difference is not so much. And it's definitely, I can tell you right now, 100%, definitely worth saving a little longer and a little more for a bike shop brand bike. So startup costs, way different, higher for mountain biking, a lot lower for running. Okay, so let's talk about gear, because it kind of goes together with cost. So gear, okay, so right away, first thing, we'll talk about the bike first. Right away, first thing you need is a helmet, okay? You have to wear a helmet when you're riding a bike, okay? It may not be law, but it's the law for riding. You are silly if you don't wear a helmet, okay? Especially, you know what? No, you're just silly if you don't wear a helmet, no matter where you ride, what you're riding on. If you don't wear a helmet, you're just asking for trouble, okay? A helmet may not save you 100% of the time in a crash or a fall or whatever, but I'm telling you, if you don't have it on, then it's not going to save you at all. It's not going to save your head. There is a high probability that that helmet could save you, could save your life, could save you from a concussion, could save you from like a banged up head, and it's just really dumb not to wear a helmet. So helmets can range anywhere from like $40 to like full face helmets are like $1,000. Like it's insane. So I paid $80 for my helmet. It was on sale. It was regular, like almost $200, but I got it in a Boxing Day sale. So just look at and be smart about how you're spending your money. You don't want to spend really $40 on a helmet at Walmart or Canadian Tire if you're planning to ride trails. You want to, when you're at the bike shop and you pick up your bike, factor the helmet cost in with the bike cost. It's just part and parcel of buying the bike. You should view it as like a grip that comes on your bike. It's just going to come on your bike. You're paying for it within the bike cost. A helmet is a part spec. That's how you got to view it. Aside from that, people usually get gloves. Gloves are a hit and miss. You don't really need them, especially if you're starting out. But you might want to pick up a pair. Just for me personally, I know that when my hands sweat, I'm glad I have gloves. Nothing else really is necessary for startup. But as you progress in the sport, you're going to want gloves. You're going to want special platform shoes, especially if you're riding flats pedals. If you start up and you are talked into or want to ride clipless pedals, then you need special shoes for that, as well as pedals, of course, and that can run all the way up into the $1,000 mark. But you know, you're looking at like $300 to $500 just for a basic setup for clipless shoes and clipless pedals. I run flats. I don't think I'll ever run clipless, but I should never say never. So I run flats, and I have a pair of flat 510 shoes, and they were again on sale. But like I say, this is as you progress in the sport. So mountain biking becomes more expensive as you progress. There's no question about it. You know, you're looking at riding jerseys, you're looking at riding shorts and socks and all this stuff that, you know, it all just adds up. But once you have it, you have it. Now with running, as you progress in the sport, again, it makes a humongous difference to run in technical gear. I was against running in technical gear when I started out. My dad pretty much talked me into it by buying technical gear for me for Christmas. So how can you refuse that, right? Once I started running in tech gear, I never looked back. So I always run in tech gear. Makes a huge difference. Same with the bike, makes a huge difference. But when you're starting out, you don't need it. But again, as you progress in the sport of running, you probably want to try tech gear at some point. So it does get progressively more expensive. However, in saying that, it is way cheaper than mountain biking. Let's talk about convenience. So when I say convenience, I'm talking about how long it takes for you to get on said road and start running, or said trail and start riding. Convenience factor for running is way higher than convenience factor for riding, especially if you don't live with trailheads right out your back door. Basically, for running, you put your running shoes on, you put your running gear on, and you head out the door, and there's the sidewalk. For me, it's like 100 meters. I don't even think it's that much. From my front door to the sidewalk, I start running. Mountain biking, for me personally, I gotta load the bike in the car. I gotta get a bike rack, right? So again, that can fall into the startup cost. Get the rack on the car, get the bike on the rack, put the helmet in and the gloves in. Now, I'm really bad for riding dirty, and I say this because for me, riding dirty is I don't bring an extra tube, I don't ride with tools on me. Driving to the trailhead take me about 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. Then when you get there, it's unloading the bike, getting the helmet on, getting everything set to go, and then you're off. So, and then you factor in the time it takes you to do that all in reverse to come back home. And then if it's muddy, you got to wash the bike. And yes, you got to wash your bike because you got to take care of your investment and want it to last, right? Just didn't spend $1,400 or $1,600 on nothing. Tune whatever is loose on it, you know, because things do come loose on a bike. Bike needs maintenance. With running, your body needs maintenance, right? You're going to stretch, but you're also going to stretch with riding and make sure that you're limber and loose and ready to go. So convenience factor, really high convenience for running, much lower for riding, for sure. So you're sitting there watching this thinking, why in the heck would I want to start mountain biking? It's going to cost me so much money. Well, let me tell you why. Because it is fun. Mountain biking is so much fun. It is way more fun than running. Let me tell you that for a fact. Mountain biking is so much fun. It's just on another level. Like, you have a bad day, you have a bad whatever's going on in your life, you get on a bike and you don't think about anything else. Your focus is on the trail, and it just, I don't know, it's like brings you back to your childhood or something. It's just the effect that a bike has on me personally is unbelievable. Sitting here thinking back on my 30 years of running, it's not really fun. It's never really been fun. Running for me has always been an escape, a time to think about stuff and make decisions. For me, when I run anywhere past the 45-minute mark, I get in what I call the zone, and your mind just drifts, but it's not fun, it's just different. Mountain biking is just fun. You can go past the 45 minutes, you can go to the 3-hour mark with mountain biking, and it's still a freaking blast, man. And the fact that I do it with my son, and I'm watching my son progress and all that stuff, and we help each other progress all the time on features and things. It's just fun. And, you know, he's of the same mentality where mountain biking is just a blast. I can't say it enough times. It's fun. You get it? It's fun. It's just a really fun way to get exercise. Mountain biking is a dangerous sport, and the more you progress, the more dangerous it is. But also, the more that you progress, the more that you can see danger before it happens. Now we live in a world now where social media is everywhere and nobody's immune to it. It's insane what's posted on social media. That's why a channel like mine will likely never do well. I just do this because I have a passion for it and I love doing it. I love helping people, and same with my son. To see those guys do Darkfest and Red Bull Rampage and all this stuff that people post out there, it's like, man, there's just no way I would do any of that. The stuff that we do is dangerous enough, let alone add that. That's just insanity. But I get it. I get why they do it. I watch it and I'm like, what the heck, man? It's the wow factor, right? So we are getting to a point now where the wow factor is harder to attain, which I don't even try to go for the wow factor. For me, the wow factor for me is just riding the bike. And dangerous features in our local and not so local trail networks that we ride all the time. That, for us, it's the wow factor. It's like, whoa, did I just ride that? That's awesome. Or I cleared this feature. It's awesome. The stoke level's high, but the danger level is also high. But it does take a certain type of person to ride a mountain bike. It does. Now, in saying that, running, not so dangerous, but still dangerous. For me, I run on roads, so traffic is highly dangerous. You have to have eyes in the back of your head. Thinking about it now, it's probably just as dangerous. I've had beer bottles thrown at me from cars as they pass while running. I have had people throw rocks at me. I've had people actually come up and literally attack me. You know, there are situations that have happened to me in the past where it's kind of sus. But has that stopped me? No. Oh, an attack by dogs, like, has it stopped me? No. Because this kind of stuff can just happen no matter what you do. The final topic here is on fitness. So if you're a runner, like I was a runner way before, like long before I was a mountain biker, no, your running fitness cannot transfer into riding. It's totally different. Riding requires the use of different muscles, obviously. A lot of the same muscles though, but definitely different ones in use than running, which I noticed right away when I got on the bike. But because I had such a large foundation of cardio fitness, I was able to adapt to the bike much faster. I do like climbing on bikes, which puts me as a weirdo. But I like that fitness. I like to sweat it out. I like to huff and puff and you know, as my fitness progresses, not huff and puff so much. So I really like doing that. I love that feeling of working hard at fitness. I just love it. So going from running to riding, yes, there is a huge difference. Your fitness will not transfer over 100% to the bike. You'll have to work into the bike. But there's no question that, like I say, because I had that foundation of cardio fitness, I was able to adapt to the bike much faster than, say, somebody that just got off the couch yesterday and started riding or started running. So because I didn't mountain bike before I started running, I can only really speak to the transition from running to riding rather than riding to running. So if you're a rider that is transitioning or wants to transition from riding to running and incorporate running into your fitness regime, then drop a comment down below and let us know how that transition went from riding to running. And then in the winter when I can't ride, I find a bike in the gym extremely boring. It's just It is not the same. I won't have a trainer for the bike in my house. I won't go to the gym and get on a bike. It's just so boring. It's so boring. That's just my opinion. I would 10 times run on a treadmill before I got on a like a spin bike or something. Like, it's just so boring. But the treadmill is boring too, though. So that's what I can speak to with regards to fitness. Is it transferable? Yeah, you've built a good solid foundation of fitness over the years. Yeah, you can transfer it into the bike eventually. It does transfer to the bike, and I'm assuming, I'm gonna just assume safely probably that the same can be said from bike to running. I've seen XC riders and they're totally fit, like super fit. So to go from riding to running is probably the same. I can probably safely assume that. So if you're thinking about changing it up a bit and incorporating either riding or running into your fitness regime, now you know the basics. If you made it this far, please subscribe and give the video a like, especially if you made it this far. You must like something in it. Keep the rubber side down, of course, if you're riding. Also, if you're running, keep the rubber side down. And we'll see you on the next one. Oh, and as my son would say, stay dirty.